What is going on? Hope you're having an incredible day. In today's video, I'm going to be going through this automation that allows you to chat through WhatsApp, create social media posts, and upload them to the GoHighLevel social media planner. Here's the sample post that I had just created. This was after multiple iterations of trying to choose the right image. Comes up with the caption and uploads everything to your account or your client's sub account to be able to manage their social media content. So I'll go ahead and show you how it works. So I just sent it, hey, how are you doing today? I'm doing well, thank you. How can I assist you? And the cool part is that you can chat to it, or you can also go and generate images. So in the future, what I'm going to do is add more and more functionality to this. So it becomes your GoHighLevel assistant. So I said, hey, I'm looking to generate an image for my brand. Happy to help. Could you just share what you want visually and let me know if you'd like any specific text on the image? Okay, so I just sent it. I want an image of someone building a parachute while skydiving with text saying entrepreneurship. And it's pretty fast. So typically takes like 30 seconds to a minute for us to get this image back. So you can see here, the text didn't come out too great. If I wanted, I would have the ability to, I could decline this. Now it's asking, sure, what would you like to change? Okay, so I said, I want the image to be of a man in his late 20s, and I kept everything else the same. We'll see if it improves the overall text at the bottom. Okay, so not the best at the text. The image is a little bit better. So let's say I wanted to approve this. I would just hit the approve button. And now if we go to our social planner and I hit refresh, you can see that we now have the caption and we have that piece of media here. Building your own safety net on the way down. Entrepreneurship, take the leap. So pretty cool. That's what we're going to be covering in today's video. And before we dive into it, all of these automations are available completely for free in our school community. So if you want to follow along, just go ahead and grab it. And so what's happening here is if we look at a previous execution here, you'll see it's broken up into two parts. So first, it comes down here, it hits this text classifier, which is either saying like, hey, this is either going to be a chat or it's going to be image. If it is chat, just respond normally like, hey, how's it going? What can I help you with? Etc. But if it is an image, we're going to come up here and this AI agent is really checking to see if there's enough information to even create an image. So if there's not, it's going to respond back saying like, hey, what do you want in terms of text on the image? What are you thinking in terms of the image itself? And once it has enough information, it'll come down here. It'll generate that image. We then have to upload that image to WhatsApp. Then we send that image to Facebook in our chat. And then we wait, essentially. We have a human in the loop node, which is waiting for approval. And if we do get approval, right? If we don't get approval, it's going to get rejected and it's going to ask, okay, what do you want to change? Like we saw. Or if it does get approved, it's going to merge these two together. So we get access to this image link. We then upload that image to Imgur. We generate the caption and then we upload that post to GoHighLevel. And so very simple, but a lot to go over. And with that being said, let's get started. Okay, guys. So first we're going to start off with a new trigger. It's going to be a WhatsApp trigger. And then we're going to create a new credential. And you'll see that we need a client ID and a client secret. So we're going to head over to the Facebook developer portal. Click on My Apps. You're going to click on Create App. It's going to ask you for an app name. So go ahead, give it a name. Use case, just scroll down to the bottom. We're going to click Other. It's going to be for a business. And just select your business portfolio and hit Create App. Now, once that's set up, you'll come to this Add Products to your app. I've already added WhatsApp, but you should see WhatsApp and you can just hit Setup. And then from there, you're going to click on Basic under App Settings and copy the app ID and the app secret. Paste them in right here. Hit save and you'll see that we've now made our connection to. And so now we need to get some test data in here. We're going to click on test step. So now you can see that it's listening for this test event. And if we come into WhatsApp under the API setup, you'll have access to a test number. You are able to select a recipient phone number. So go ahead, enter in your phone number there. And we're going to hit generate access token, add in our new number here, and then hit send a message. And now when you go and respond to that message that was just sent, if we come back to our WhatsApp trigger where we had the test workflow running, you'll see we now have all of this information. Okay, so now we're going to add in an AI agent. We want to grab this text body right here. So we can just set define below, right? And we can drag in that text body. And now we can add a system message. So I went add and then system message. I could say, okay, guys, so I'm figuring this out as we go here, but it's going to be a couple different layers. So I added in this text classifier here and we're going to grab the body, drop it in here. So that's what it's going to be classifying is that text. We're going to add in two categories. So the first one is going to be image
Okay, so for image, we're saying the user is asking to generate an image. And then for the other one being chat, we'll say the user is simply having a conversation, anything that doesn't require an image to be generated. Okay, and then we're saying, please classify the text by the user into one of the following categories, image or chat. Don't explain and only output the JSON. So now if we test this, okay, we need to connect a model subnode. So we can connect OpenAI. 4.0 mini should be good enough. Or we could even use 4.1 mini. So we'll use 4.1 mini. And now if we test this step, you could see, hey, this one was a chat. Because my thinking here is that sometimes as this expands and as we build more on it, it'll either be a chat or it'll be an image. So we're going to have to build them out each one by one. Okay, so we're saying here, you're a highly capable executive assistant. This one is specifically the chat agent. So if we were to test this step right now, we need to connect the chat model. So once again, we'll connect to OpenAI. Perfect. We're also going to need memory. So we'll use simple memory. And instead of using the session ID, we will grab the WhatsApp ID. So just go ahead, drag that in here. And it doesn't really need any tools in this case. And now you can see the output. How can I assist you today? And then from there, we can just connect that back to WhatsApp to send the message back. And we're going to grab the from number. Operation is to send. And then the text body is going to be the output. So now if we test this step, you'll see that we need to set up the WhatsApp Business Cloud account. So go here, click create new credential. And you're going to need the access token and the business account ID. And so if we come back to the Meta portal under the API setup, we can copy our access token and we can copy the WhatsApp business account ID right here and just drop them both in, hit save. Now we have that new connection. Now we can choose that test number. And if we hit test step, we get the message that's saying, hello, how can I assist you today? Okay, so now let's set up our image one. We'll set this to the connected chat trigger node. Okay, so let's add in our chat model here. We'll go with 4.1 again. We're also going to need to give it memory. And so we'll define that below and we can grab the WhatsApp ID. Now I went ahead, I turned on require specific output format. That brings up this structured output parser. And we are saying, the image is either going to be ready or false. And then a message, the message will be the follow-up message if that image is not ready. And then an image description and the text on the image. So now we have that set up. And now I added in this system message, which will be in the school community. So you can just go ahead and download this, get started. I'm not going to go through it here. And so now we can go ahead and test this step once again. So I just said, hey, I'm looking to create an image. Now, if we test this classifier, we'll see it hits the image branch, comes up here, and we can change this connected chat to the body, test this step. And now you can see, hey, ready is equal to false. Happy to help. Could you let me know what you want the image to show and if you'd like any specific text on it? And now we can add in an if statement, which is going to be ready is equal to true. Then we'll create the image. Otherwise, send a message back with this message right here. So we'll go ahead and we'll test that step. So it looks like we're going to have to choose Boolean and we'll say is true. Now we can test this step and you see we get the false. So now we'll add another WhatsApp business model to send a message. We'll choose our phone number. Recipient's phone number is going to come from the first step once again, the from number. And then the message is going to be the text body from the if message right here. So now if we test this step, we get a message back, happy to help. Could you let me know what you want the image to show and if you'd like any specific text on it? And so now we can test the workflow and I'll say, okay, so I'd like an image representing AI taking over the real estate sector in a fun, cartoony manner. For text, I'd like AI takeover 2025. Now from here, you can see it hit our if it's being true. You can see it upgraded our image description. Text on image is AI takeover 2025. Now we can hit the generate image right here. And we could just say image description. And we'll drag the image description. And then we could say text on image, just like that. Beautiful. So now that'll go generate the image. And then afterwards, we're going to toss a human in the loop with WhatsApp. So we'll go ahead, we'll test this previous step now to get some information populated in here. And while that's generating, I'll show you this WhatsApp human in the loop where we're waiting for a response. The response type is approval. And then from there, you can see it's either going to approve or decline as the two buttons that you can choose from. So once again, if we click on the WhatsApp trigger for recipient phone number, we can grab that from field, drop it in here, and then we just need the message. Okay, guys, so looked into this a little bit more. It looks like we need to first upload that image. So you're going to switch this resource to media. set your operation to upload, and this should be set to data, just like it is here. And you can see that now we get a upload ID or a media ID. All right, guys, so I got it. I had to mess around a bunch to get this working, but essentially here we are generating this specific image ID. From there, we need to send a custom HTTP request. So it's a post to this specific URL with the phone number ID. So I got this from going to the WhatsApp trigger, phone number ID. Then we're choosing predefined credential type, the WhatsApp API. We're connecting it to our WhatsApp GoHighLevel. Then we're sending headers. We got the content type, application JSON, and then authorization bearer and your API key. And then this is the specific JSON body request. So we're sending it to the from number. So to the number that we're currently going back and forth with the image ID that was just generated. Now, when that happens, you're going to get that image, and then we need to have this send and wait message where we're sending a message to that same from number that we get from the first step here. And we're saying, hey, what do you think? And then you can either approve or decline. So in this case, I clicked approved. We're going to add an if else statement here. So we're going to say if approved is true, then we'll go ahead. We'll create that post and save it as a draft within GoHighLevel's social planner. Otherwise, if it's false, we are going to loop back and get it to ask us once again, what kind of image we want or what we would want to change. So I'll build out the false node first, which is just going to be a WhatsApp message. And we'll grab the from as well, once again. And then in the text body, we're just going to say something along the lines of, sure, what would you like to change? And that'll just start the loop once again. And because the AI agent has memory, it'll remember what it created the first time and hopefully improve upon it during the second round. And so now if we wanted to create this post, I'm under the social planner. So you see that we're going to need to post this specific endpoint. So we'll add in an HTTP request, and it's a post request. We're going to need the location ID. So once you're in your account, after location, grab this location ID, and we're just going to drop it in right here. Now we will need to send headers. Look here at the headers. Well, we need the authorization bearer access token. So we'll do that, and we'll put bearer in here. And then we need to grab our API key. In this case, I'm guessing it's going to be the private integrations. So click here, and you will have to create a new integration, give it a name. And when you click next, you're just going to want to select all of these scopes. And then it's going to provide you with a private integration token, and just save that somewhere safe. And then we will also need to add in the version, which is 2021-07-28. And so just looking at this in terms of what is required from the media, we will need the media URL. It would be good to have a caption. Looks like we also need the type. So either going to be a post, a story, or a reel. In our case, we're going to be using post. And then we can also set the approval status. If you did want to schedule it, you could, right? You can also schedule the post later into the future by providing it with a scheduled date. So we will need to get the accounts first, as it is one of the things that we need. And so we'll just add in a little chat trigger, and we'll connect that chat trigger to an HTTP request. We'll copy this get accounts. We'll drop it in here. We'll grab our location ID again, and we'll replace it here. It is going to be a get. And then same thing, we need authorization with our bearer key and the API version. So now we can open up the chat. We'll send a simple message, and you can see that we got all of the accounts that are currently connected. So we have this account ID, it's connected to Facebook, etc. Right? So I would say just take down these IDs somewhere so that we have them for later. And before we create this post, there's a few other things that we need. If we look at the create post endpoint here, you see that we need a media URL. So if we come up to media library, we're going to be uploading a file into the media library. So we need this request first. It's going to be a post request. We still need the same headers. So add in those headers. Okay, so we will need to test the workflow again, just to get some data up to that portion. So here we go. It's generating that image right now. In a second, it'll upload it to the WhatsApp Business Cloud server. Then it'll send that image. Then it's going to ask us if we want to keep or decline it. Came out really nice. I asked for a hyper-realistic Python, and now it's waiting for our decision here. And so I'm just going to delete this node because this is going to fail. We'll hit save. And now if I hit approve, it'll come down here. We still got this issue, but now we can connect it and we'll have access to everything prior. Okay, so now I set the body turn it on. Body content type is going to be set to form data because that is what's required here. Multi-part form data. Okay, now we're going to select N8N binary file. The name is going to be file, and we can grab the file name right here and drop it in. And we can add another parameter. We'll set the name to hosted, the value to false, and one more where we'll set this to name, and we can give it a value, and we'll do timestamp because that'll always be unique, PNG. Then we'll go ahead and test this. Okay, so it looks like it can actually access that media because it's all the way over here and it needs to be from the previous node. So we're going to use a merge node. Okay, so we're using the combine mode. We're combining it by position, number of inputs set to 2. And now we should be able to drag this all the way up here. And if everything works, we should get that binary data. So I'm just going to now test this. Let's drag this to input 2 and just delete this node. So now we have input 1, input 2. We'll test this step. There we go. Now we have that. And now I believe if we just set this to data and we test this step. Okay, so it looks like we're getting this error saying it's forbidden. Check credentials. I think what we have to do is use the private integrations at the agency level. So that's what we're going to do right now. And once again, we're just going to add in all the scopes. Okay, so this would work, but we are getting forbidden and I'm using the agency level private integration token and it's still not working. So it's likely some other issue, which means that in order to upload this media, we're going to have to host that image somewhere and then retrieve that image so that it's downloadable. Upload it, make sure that the file is publicly accessible, and then from there we'll be able to create the post. So a couple more steps. A little annoying that we couldn't just upload directly, but it is part of the game. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, guys. So after looking into this in more depth, I kept getting this error when it came to uploading where we get this forbidden, perhaps check your credentials. I've used the agency level private integration token, and we're still getting that error. But the really cool thing here, if we look at the upload file into media library, hosted, we can set to true. And by doing that, it allows us to host that image somewhere else and provide access to GoHighLevel. So we're going to be using Imgur to do this. So you can come here, sign up for a free account. So now we're in the API docs for the registration quick start. So we're just going to follow these steps. First, we need to run postman button at the top of this page. It's going to bring you here. If this is your first time, go ahead, sign up. You can also come to this specific endpoint, which is api.imgur, to this specific URL. So add client, and you're going to give it an application name mine target dial. You can see here it's asking to use this callback URL. So we're going to copy that and drop it in right here. Make sure you have with the callback URL selected. You can put in your email and your website if you want. Then we're going to hit submit. And so if we go to the image post image upload, we can copy this endpoint. We'll drop it in here, switch this to a post method. In the header, you see that we need that client ID that we just generated. So we're going to enter that in now under headers. We'll set this to authorization, client ID, and then we'll paste in our client ID right here. We're going to turn on send body. For body content type, we can set this to form data. We'll choose N8N binary file. The name, we can just give it image, and the input data field name is called data, which is coming from right here. And so now if we test this step, you see that we get a status of 200 with the success equal to true. And here's our link, which if we go and open, should show us our image. Perfect. Okay, so now if we open up our GoHighLevel media upload, we're going to change this hosted to true. The name can still be the same, or you could use the ID from the previous step. And we're going to change this from binary file to form data. We'll change this to file URL, and then the value is going to be the link I will drop in right here. And now we'll just test that step. I forgot to put in the API key, so I'll add in the API key and we'll test the step again. Okay, so after testing, I was able to get this post to upload. And what I had to do was use the create post endpoint of the social planner, but we still had to upload that image first. So that's what's going on here. And so now that this image has been uploaded and we have verified that we could upload this post to GoHighLevel, we're going to generate the caption, which we're going to loop until we find something we like. Then we're going to approve it. Once it's approved, we're either going to post it immediately or schedule it for the future. On top of that, we're going to have it generate that caption
do all of the additional steps. And so let's finish up this build. So we're going to remove these two portions. After that, we'll connect it to the caption generator. We can delete all of this. So image is going to get uploaded. After that, we are going to generate a caption. And so you can see for this create post, we're going to need the location ID. So I think after this, we should just be able to post. So we're going to copy this endpoint. We're going to drop it in right here. You're going to need to grab your location ID. So go ahead and do that. Then after that, you're going to need all the same fields. So authorization, bearer, your API key. You'll see there's some additional ones right here. If we look at the request sample, right? So accept, application, content type, version. So go ahead, add all of those in, like I have right here. And then we are going to need to get, if we look at the actual body of what's required, we will need the account IDs. And in our body, we're going to drop this in. Next, we will need the summary, which is going to come from the caption generator. The media is going to be the Imgur URL that we uploaded. In this case, it's an image JPEG, because you can see here, that's what's actually supported, right? So when we specify the media, we need to provide a caption. The type either needs to be video or image, and the rest we can leave blank unless you wanted to also upload a thumbnail. Now for status, it needs to be one of these. So in progress, draft, failed, published. We're going to put it to draft like we have here. The type, it needs to be a post, a story, a reel. In our case, since it is just an image, it will be a post. And then lastly, you're going to have to get the specific user ID. And so I have this second part right down here that we can connect to, which will get all of the user IDs. For that, I'm using the users, get user endpoints, or I believe it's get user by location. So get user by location, we need the location ID, same thing, authorization and API. So I'm just going to open up the chat and test this, and we'll get all of the user IDs. So just grab the user ID pertaining to your name. These are all the people who are currently on this account, and then we're just going to add it here. So now that that is done, what I'm going to do is come into executions, pull up a past automation where we have the image that's been created to not have to go through all of these steps again. So just like this, we'll copy it to the editor. Now we can just pin this data so we can test this step. Perfect. So now you can see that that node was executed successfully. We'll pin this. And now when we go to upload that post, we're going to come into here. We're going to replace the summary with the caption, and we're going to replace the URL with the URL right here, the link. There we go. And now everything should be live. And so now we're going to try everything from the start. So I'm just saying, hey, how are you doing? I'm doing great. Thank you. How can I assist you today? I'm looking to generate an image. Happy to help. Could you let me know what image you want to show and if you'd like any specific text on it? Okay, so now I just said, give me a hyper realistic image of a robot versus a human head to head in a poster style format, almost like a big boxing match coming up. Above in text, I want the words target dial. Below, I want never miss a call again. So now you can see this image was generated. And in this case, I'd be like, you know what? I don't really like this. Gonna hit decline. Now it comes back. Sure, what would you like to change? So now I just went ahead and provided that update. So give me a hyper realistic image. I want the text to be centered, and I want the robot to be towering over the human who they have just knocked out. And you can see it's pretty fast. Like that image gen took less than a minute, maybe 30 seconds. So this is the new image it generated. Much better. I didn't get the text right. It's pretty funny. So I'll hit approve now. And if you come into our executions, you can see it was uploaded successfully to GHL. And if we come into our account under marketing, you can now see under the social planner, hey, we have our post. It's man versus machine, the ultimate showdown. Target dial brings the heat. Will you miss the call or rise to answer? Never miss a call again. So hope you got immense value out of this video. I will continue to iterate over this and build better and better versions. If you did get value out of this, consider dropping a subscribe. It's free, helps support the channel. And if you have any ideas of content you'd like to see in the future, feel free to drop it in the comments below. And with that being said, hope you have an incredible rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.